I had to cut that last recording a little bit short because periodically when I'm in the recording, if I hit the file system, it mutes my microphone and that's unreversible. And that's what happened. In any case, if we hit search plants, and we'll give it a moment, it comes up with the search screen. We know we just have dummy data in there now. So we hit search, we choose our item. It's going to take us to the web view. And the web view will take a few moments, but it will load plant places on the web view. So we have to make a decision here. Sometimes we are going to want to pass in, we're going to want to get data back from the details view, from the results view, and not go all the way to the web view. Other times we're going to want to go all the way to the web view. If we're just going, and there we go, there's the web page. If we just want to search plants, then we are going to want to see the details view. But if we're going from GPS a plant, we're going to want a plant to get returned to our screen. So we have to make a bit of a difference there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Location Finder, and I'm going to go into Plant Places Activity. Let's start there. Control M. I'm going to make a public constant. Okay, we'll say public final string show details equals show details. Just some kind of constant like that. Okay, and it's public so it can be accessed anywhere. Okay, and save. Okay, now from the location finder, what I'm going to do is when I call the plant search, I'm going to add an extra. Let's see. Search intent. Put extra. Almost hit it there. Okay. Oops. Okay. And what I'm going to put in here is I'm going to put the constant that I just defined, the show details, and we're going to say false because from the, let's see, okay, it resolved it okay. From the location finder, we don't want to go to the details screen. We want it to just select a plant and return that. So show details, and we're going to say false. Okay. On the other hand, if I go to the plant places activity, okay, if I go to the search screen from here, I'm going to tell it I do want to see details. So search plant intent, put extra, show details true. Okay, and save. Okay, search plants intent, sorry. So depending on what the source is, where I'm coming from before I go to that search screen is going to determine whether we move forward and go to the details screen or whether we just return whatever the user clicked. Okay, so now to the search screen. Plant search activity. And we'll give it a moment to load. Okay, now on search clicked, what I'm going to do here is well, let's see, we'll fish out the data from the intent here. Okay, this.get intent, get extra, get boolean extra. Okay, and we will say, we'll use that show details constant again. And that's going to return to us, let's say true by default. That's going to return to us the value that was passed in. Shouldn't be boolean array extra, should be boolean extra. That's going to return to us either the true or the false. Do we want to show details or not? So what I'm going to do, control 1, assign to new field, and we're going to say show details. The trick is that we have to go several screens deep before we actually do something with this value. So I'm saving it into a Boolean, and now when we go to plant results, I'm going to add this to the plant results screen as well. Intent.put extra. Okay, and once again show details. Okay, and then show details. So we have to pass this several screens down the line, which gets a little bit tricky. But finally, we get now to the plant results screen, plant results activity. And now we're going to make a decision. Now we need to make a decision. And the on list item click, well, okay, we'll need to actually get the data out first. So let's see. Should we show details or just go to the, or just return the selected result? Okay, so once again, we'll say this.getIntent, okay, .get Boolean extra, and we'll pass in plant places activity dot show details, and then default value will say true. Okay. Once again, we're going to want to control 1 and assign this to a new field so that it can be visible throughout the application. We'll change the name to show details, and there we go. Finally, in the on list item click, what we're going to do is we're going to say if show details, we'll pull up the WebView. Okay. Straighten this out a bit. There we go. We'll tab a little bit. Else, return the selected plant. Okay. We'll say this.getIntent dot put extra. Okay, we'll say plant result. And we have to get a little bit tricky to get that plant result. We'll have to say get selected. That's not what we want. So we'll say get list adapter dot get item, and we'll pass it the position. And I know that went off screen, so let me bring that back over. So this is how we get the item that was selected in the list. Okay? And then we'll say, okay, finish. Okay, and we need to say one more thing. This dot set result. Result okay. And there we go. So we're simply returning whatever item was selected back to the calling screen. And we choose save. Okay? And I think we're good at that point. So we'll save. And what else do we want to do? I'll tell you what else. Let me borrow this as well. I'm going to pass the selected plant to the WebView as well. Plant details, intent. I'm going to pass the selected plant to the plant details as well. That way maybe we can pick out that specific plant and show it in the WebView. So okay, with this much saved, I'm going to go ahead, start it in and make sure it still works. One moment, please. Now, with the emulator up, we'll see something very interesting. We've passed this flag all the way from the very first screen to the result screen. So if I start in GPS a plant where I am now, I click Find Specimen, it's going to take me to the search screen. At the search screen, I'm going to hit search, and again, we know this is dummied up data, so I don't actually need to enter anything. I hit search and it takes me to the details screen. Now watch, when I click a plant, it's not going to take me to the plant details view. Let me go ahead and play through this. Instead, it's going to take me back. Okay, it takes me back to the search screen, and from there we could go, in theory, we could go back to the GPS screen. But if you notice there, let me take that breakpoint off. If you notice there, what happened is that it did not take me to details. Instead, it started taking me back in navigation. Okay, so once again, without the breakpoint set, so we can watch a little bit smoother. I go to GPS a plant. I hit find, which is going to take me to the search screen. I go to the search screen and I'm going to hit search. That's going to take me to the search results. I'm going to select an option. Instead of going to details, it's going to take me back in navigation. It's going to return a plant back. Now on the other hand, let's click on search plants, and let's say that we had started with search plants instead of GPS a plant as our initial screen, as our initial home screen. Now I'm going to hit search, and now it's going to show me some plant detail data. And when I click a result, it's not going to take me back. Instead, it's going to take me forward to the web view with the details of this plant. Of course, it'll take a moment to load, but we will see in a moment. There we go. It takes us to the details page. It's just one more thing we want to consider. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect the debugger. And I'm going to the Plant Places root page now, but why don't we make it so that it actually shows the detail page for this plant? So on the plant results activity, on the plant results activity, I'm going to pass in another extra, and that extra is going to be a plant ID. Now, if you go to plantplaces.com, what we're going to see is that each plant has this unique identifier, and I believe we're looking at pawpaw. Yeah, for pawpaw, the unique identifier is 82. Okay, so I'm going to make a few changes to my application. First of all, in this class called plant, which we made a few lectures ago, I'm going to add an int ID. Okay, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to choose generate getters and setters. Okay, source, generate getters and setters, and I know that's going to appear off screen a little bit. We'll go ahead and choose ID. So I'm adding a new piece of data to my plant, and we're going to find that all in all, I really don't have to change too much. I just add the ID, add the getters and setters. Now I'm going to go into the plant results activity and Control M. And where I'm making my plant objects, I'm going to start populating this new ID. So for pawpaw, I'm going to say pawpaw.setID. You see now I have that set ID option, and we said 82. Okay. For redbud, we'll set ID, and I'll need to go look what the redbud ID is. Just one moment. If I go to Plant Places. Okay, and I search on redbud, and we'll just pick the first one, Cercis canadensis. That ID is 83. Oh, okay, I didn't realize they're one right after another. So the redbud is 83. Okay. Now, this is the results screen. On the on list item click, I'm going to add another extra. I'm going to say plant details intent dot put extra, and I'm going to say plant underscore ID, and for the value, we will say get list adapter, get item at position. We're going to need to do a little bit of casting here. I'm going to first paste that in a new line, Control 1, assign to new local variables, fine. Oh, I think I went, okay. I didn't mean get item ID. Let's see, get list, hang on one second. We're gonna, whoops. Get list adapter. Oop. Get item is what I wanted, and then pass in the position. The position means where did the user click. Okay, now I Control 1, assign to new local variable. Okay, and we're going to say plant, and we're going to call it selected plant. We're going to have to cast. There we go. And then for the, so that gives us, let me put a comment here, give us the plant the user chose. And now plant details intent put extra, put the plant's unique identifier into the intent bundle, intent extras, let's say. Okay, value is going to be selected plant.getID. So what we're doing is we're passing this unique identifier from the results screen to the details screen. Now in the details screen, I'm going to ask for the value associated with plant result. So I'm going to go to plant details activity. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull back out that unique identifier. Okay, so we'll say get the unique identifier for the selected plant. Okay, so we'll say this dot get intent dot get extra 1 second, get integer get int extra. Okay, and we'll use that same name, plant result. We'll give it a default value of, we'll just go with 1. Okay, so control 1, assign to new local variable, and we're going to call this int plant ID. Okay, so why am I doing this? Well, if we go back to the browser, what we'll see is in this URL, we're currently looking at pawpaw. Okay, if I simply change this ID from 82 to 83, it changes, and suddenly we're looking at redbud. Okay, so what I need to do is take this URL here, paste it, instead of using just the plant places URL here, I'm going to paste that URL, but I'm going to leave the plant ID. Okay, and we'll use whatever ID were passed in here. Okay, so plant ID equals, and then we'll append to this plus plant ID. One other thing I'm going to do, I'm going to say and source equals mobile, which will give us the nice mobile formatting. So now what's happening is I'm loading a URL specific to a specific plant detail. Okay, and I'm using the plant ID to tell me which plant was selected. So I save, I control M, and we're going to debug this again, and we're going to see what results we get. So I right click, and actually, well, we could run or we could debug. And there we go, and we'll let this launch. One moment, please. Now with the emulator up, what we'll see is that if I hit search plants, and we know that's going to take us to the details screen. If I choose search plants, then I'm just going to hit search again because we're running with dummy data. And then it's going to give me the two results, the pawpaw and the lavender twist redbud. If I choose pawpaw, it's going to take the unique identifier for pawpaw, and it's going to put it together in that URL that describes a pawpaw, and it's going to show me the pawpaw specific data in the browser. Okay, we'll give it a moment to load. And just a few more moments as it loads. And there we go. Notice no top nav, no side nav, because we did the mobile friendly format. Looks much better to read without that. Okay. And it's pulled up some data in Plant Places Mobile. So there we go. That's how we can negotiate from one screen to another and pass in some information from one screen to another. And also we can change our navigation. So this is the fourth and final video for our, I believe, our 5th week in beginning Android development. In this video we finished up looking at a WebView, and we looked at how we can pass data from one intent to another, and we can keep going along that chain. One of the tricks that we'll do is if we take a look at something like advanced search. Let me pull this up. Sorry, plant search activity. If we take a look at plant search, oops, looks like I changed something there. Plant search. Okay. If we take a look at plant search, what we can do is we pull the show details flag out from the intent that invoked us, and then we pass it back into the next intent that we are invoking. So this is how we can chain intents together. We also took a look at our web view, and with plant details activity, we saw that we could sandwich in some kind of unique identifier into a URL like that, our plant ID, okay? And that way we can actually pull up the details for a specific selected plant. So lots of great stuff we covered this week. Don't forget quiz question suggestions, and that is due on Thursday, and then we'll have our quiz for this the week that follows. Thank you.